So I ask if you can even be a little bit more brief in your descriptions so we can maximize his time, please.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to give us a heads up that the big boss is going to be there, so we're on our best behavior.
No, see you at your best, brother. Come on. Yeah. We believe it or not, we did have to do a little shuffling around here. Was it Miss Streets this weekend to make sure that we were all good and in place here.
Right.
But everything worked out as it should, and all for the good. And we know that you guys are on top of it. So your game is supreme, brother. Don't you worry.
And Andy, did you ask about Veronica Davila still? Because she is on now.
Oh, she has Veronica. I just want to speak to her. I think kept jumping. I didn't know if she'd actually been logged in. Veronica, good morning to you.
Her audio is not on yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, how you doing, brother? Hey, Mr. Ron. All right, sir. Good morning. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Thank you.
Good morning, Ron. Wonderful. And hopefully you and Georgette and family are as well.
All right. Yes, indeed. Okay, we got special ops on. Good. Jim. Let's see. Lieutenant Minor. Yep, got him. Okay, Lieutenant Minor's on from Sheriff Department. Morning, sir.
Good morning, all.
Right.
Good morning. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. So are we ready to start, Andy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's South County Community Roundtable from May 10th, 2023. We're just going to go over quickly our Zoom etiquette for today. And just know that please keep your background noise to a minimum and be mindful of your background noise when you are off mute and when your microphone is not muted. And position your camera properly if you choose to be on camera when you speak, and keep it in a stable position at eye level as possible. And then please, when you are unmuted, please limit your distractions, and that can make it easier to focus on the meeting by turning off your notification or closing or minimizing the apps and muting your smartphone. Upon entry, you notice that you were muted, and except for meeting participants, and you can always unmute if you need to ask a question or make a comment, and you can use the raised hand icon on your laptop, iPad, or your electronic device, and that's located under the reactions tab at the bottom of your screen. As attendees, you will be able to unmute when you have questions or comments. And as the host, I will mute attendees if there's a distracting noise, because I realize that at times it is, we tend to forget to unmute. The Zoom session will be recorded and kept for 2 weeks and then deleted. And we just ask that you not record any portion of this meeting. Those that are on the telephone, *6 toggles mute and unmute, and *9 invokes the raised hand icon. Next, a few announcements. May is National Military Appreciation Month. And in that vein, there's a message from Dr. James Dula, who is director of the Office of Veterans Affairs for the Office of County Executive. And he sends a message that during the month of May, appreciation is extended to members of the United States military and honors our nation's veterans for the many sacrifices made in support of democracy and the Constitution of the United United States. As we celebrate our military heroes, we also pause during the month of May for Memorial Day to remember the sacrifice and service of men and women who gave all for the freedoms we enjoy. In addition, during the month, we celebrate Military Spouse Appreciation Day and Armed Forces Day. Therefore, he joins with the Office of Veterans Affairs as we say thank you for your service to members of the United States Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and Space Force. And that's from Dr. James A. Dula, U.S. Air Force, retired and Vietnam veteran from the Office of the County Exec, working as Director of the Office of Veterans Affairs. And in that same vein, Mission Barbecue during the month of May will celebrate Armed Forces Week, May 15th through 19th, and Armed Forces Day, May 20th, with a free sandwich on these particular days. And I can send that out so you know what those dates are. A few other announcements quickly. The second annual ecumenical prayer breakfast will be held tomorrow, Thursday, May 11th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Kingdom Fellowship AME Church, which is located in Beltsville, Maryland. The Aging Upbound Informational Fair will be held on Tuesday, May 16th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 6420 Allentown Road in Camp Springs, Maryland. The AAPI Leadership and Breaking Barriers will honor the first AAPI State Delegate in Prince George's County, David Valderrama, and the keynote speaker will be the Honorable Aruna Miller, Lieutenant Governor of Maryland. And that will be on May 18th, Thursday, May 18th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. WSSC is holding an open house in Prince George's County. It will be on May 23rd at the Sports and Learning Complex on Sheriff Road from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Senior Health and Fitness Day was Wednesday. It will be held on Wednesday, May 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Southern Area Aquatics and Recreational Complex in Brandywine, Maryland, which is located on Missouri Avenue. Our agenda today, we welcome our Police Chief Malik Aziz, Police Chief of the Prince George's County Police Department. Just a few more announcements. Our next meeting date is Wednesday, May 24th, 2023, where we will have from the Office of the County Executive, there's someone from their budget team to present their 2023-2024 budget. And on another note, happy birthday to our facilitator, Mr. Andy Holloway. Everybody wish him a happy birthday. And to all the mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, happy Mother's Day on this Sunday. That's all that I have. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. And we must always say thank you for another day. It is a present that God has given us.
Recording in progress.
All right. Good morning, everyone. And we want to move along. We do not want to squander any time, but we want to say first, thank you and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are out there. And pretend, I say not pretend, present, future, and those that don't even know they are. You say, I don't have any children. Yes, you do. You are a woman. You've helped somebody along the way. So we tilt our hat and say thank you very much for being who you are. All right. So we're going to move along. And Mr. Payton, I'm with you, sir. So good morning to you. Moving right along, we know we have the chief on, and we're just waiting to hear him just talk to us and say what's going on and pick his brain and let him know that we're here to help support in any way we can. So we'll move forward as we always normally do. So we start off with Police Division 7. I think Major Mitchell or Captain Martini.
Good morning, everybody. Captain Martini here today.
Right.
Just to discuss the crime numbers for Division 7. Currently, we're down 6% from the same time period last year. So as usual, like I say, Division 7, we have the lowest crime numbers of any division in the county. So you can feel assured that you live in one of the safest communities around. What we're seeing our numbers come from is mostly the stolen vehicles and the theft from autos. So we're going to keep pushing the literature out to the community and, discussing it in our HOA and community meetings. Also, I want everybody to be aware that I do see occasionally some fraud and scams that are coming out there. So be leery of anybody calling, and we're going to push out literature on that as far as, bank, credit card, any kind of financial scams. This is occurring, and people need to be aware of it. That if it's a legitimate entity, always just ask them, sir, can you give me your name and your telephone number? And I'll call you back, or a family member will call you back. And that's one of the easiest ways to stop that from occurring. To keep this moving along, just wanted to talk about a couple of things we had the past couple of weeks. We had the drug take back on April 22nd. And to let you know, Division 7 led all police agencies on the amount of drugs that we got turned in, that you cleaned out your medicine cabinets, your kitchen cabinets. We had over 69 pounds turned into our division. We also beat all the Walgreens in the area. The only entity Division 7 didn't beat was the health department. So I want to give credit to the members of the community of Division 7 that we had the most drug turn in. Also, April 24th, we had coffee with a cop at the Dunkin' Donuts on Livingston Road. Had a great turnout. It was really good to see a lot of you in person and to talk to you. And I look forward to our next one. And the last thing is we had a very great Christmas in April on April 29th. The Christmas in April, the house that we worked on. Thank the members of the community that came out and worked with us. Also, I want to give credit to MGM Security. Those guys came deep and they were ready to work. We got a lot more done on the house and really left it in good shape when we left. So I just wanted to, thank the community, thank the MGM Security that really put in a lot of work. And it was very successful. And I'll be on the line if you have any questions. But like I said, we're going to keep it short today. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Awesome work in the community. And that's what we're all about, working together. With that, we'll move on to Division 4. Major Lighton, I see you on. How you doing, sir?
Sure. Good morning. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Happy Mother's Day. Thanks to everybody for the reminder, because I otherwise might have forgotten and I'd be in big trouble. So thank you for that. Like Captain Martin said, or Captain Martini said, our Christmas in April was also a big success. Chief came out to it. We appreciate him being there, supporting us in it. The house was well taken care of, nice renovations done, and the homeowners are very happy. Some of the things we've been working on recently, I know we've been talking about some of the loitering and crime that's been happening at Audrey and 210. We had a long-term project with DPI into the Dollar General shopping center there. We kind of went through the nuisance abatement, got a positive resolution. So we should be able to serve them pretty soon. They're going to be getting shut down. So thanks to the community for coming out, speaking on our behalf at the nuisance abatement. I know that was a big ask, but it does pay off. And, we get positive results like that. It's important that you guys keep getting involved in these type of meetings. Just hearing from the police a lot of times isn't enough. So we're really thankful for those of you that did speak on our behalf. The other thing I want to touch on, I'm sure you all saw on the news, the incident we had on the school bus last week. I just want to point out the 2 people involved in that. Well, it was 4 people involved, but the suspect with the gun and the target in that, they were known to each other. Everybody was identified very quickly in that. We charged all 3 suspects within, I think, 72 hours. 2 are in custody right now. 1 we're still looking for with DC because he's wanted on their side for a much more significant crime. Other than that, we're still down in homicides. We're down 3 from this time last year, which is a significant decrease. And like I keep saying, last year was down from the year before. So we're still making positive strides by focusing on violent crime. Shootings are down. Carjackings, unfortunately, are still up, but we have seen a dip in that. And we're actually starting to see our numbers on stolen vehicles turn around a little bit. So I don't know if the fix from Hyundai and Kia is having positive results or us targeting these groups that are using these cars to commit other crimes is starting to pay off. We are starting to see those numbers turn down. So hopefully that, which has been driving our numbers all spring, will start turning around before we get into the summer. But other than that, I'm keeping it short today. I know you guys would much rather hear from my boss, and I would too. So unless you have questions, that's all I have.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Again, we do this so often, and it's just so enlightening to hear the information. and see how community involvement is working, and we work as a team. So thank you guys for allowing us to be as engaged as we are. So appreciate you. Yes, Park Police. Think who to have? No one from Yes Park Police?
No, I do not see anyone from U.S. Park Police.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next, please, Maryland National Capitol Park Police. I see you sitting back there waiting. Come on, brother. Tree, it's in Truesdale. Nope.
No, I do.
Okay,
not.
I thought I saw him on earlier. Okay, MGM, Special Ops.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Lieutenant Spence here for the Special Operations Division.
Good morning, sir.
Good, good. So we'll cover a few of the highlights that's going on MGM. Last week was a very good week for MGM. We had we hosted the draft party last week. We have a very good turnout. In fact, the numbers were so good at the draft party. I believe that the individuals are talking about doing it again next year. If you don't know, normally the draft party is normally done at FedEx Field, which is always a success. But this time it offered a little bit of a little excitement where we got the other venues, the restaurants, and it was more of an entertaining event. And then after the event was over, individuals got a chance to really enjoy some of the amenities that we have here at the National Harbor. So it was a very, very good success. We just finished a boat show, which is the first time the boat show has met at the National Harbor. That was a success as well. Normally they meet in Annapolis. It was so well again. They are speaking of doing it again next year. So the harbor is continuing to be a place, a number one venue to visit for Prince George's County residents, as well as anyone else who choose to visit the county. The only uptick that we have currently going on at the National Harbor is the continued problems that we have with Tanger Outlet and the thefts that's going on in the retail stores. But we have done a shift of some of our personnel and some of the resources and making sure we have stationary assignments going on there, as well as having officers roll through, and also obviously officers in uniform to roll through and making sure that they cause a deterrent for individuals who want to arrive there and commit thefts. So everything is going very well to Harbor. It's going to be a big summer. We have a lot of events we're planning for. In fact, this Friday and Saturday, we're getting ready to host 2 proms. Gwen Park High School is hosting a prom at 151 St. George, and Bowie is hosting a prom on Saturday. 93 KOS, along with a popular young band, is going to be performing there. So we're getting our resources allocated towards that, making sure we have everything in place for the safety of all. So the Harbor's doing well. And thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much. And you hit just what we were looking for. And I know that's been the location over the mall over there, the open shoplifting and things like that, where people walk in and start doing crazy things. So we appreciate the fact that you've been able to, your forces have been able to tamper a lot of stuff that could get out of hand over there fairly easy. And I know your biggest concern would probably be to some with motorbike, I call them motorbikes, motorcycles, and their intent coming up. So let us know what we can do to help, again, to keep things moving along. And thank you so much. All righty. Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Minor, did I see you, sir?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, sir, and happy birthday again. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there as well. I just have a few things right quick. Last month, we received 106 emergency petition orders, and out of the 106, we served 89. So we still see that consistent number of 100 or more per month as far as the emergency petitions that we're receiving. So that mental health piece is still right there, and we're still working with our mental health partners as far as pushing that out there to getting everyone the resources that they need. Also, we served 94 criminal warrants last month. So our warrant squad is out here 24/7, diligently out here trying to apprehend criminals throughout the county. And so we served 94 warrants. We really don't have too much going on throughout the county. Other than that, courts are back open. And the biggest message that we're really still pushing, if you have court, try to get to court almost like you do the airport. We need you to get there early because the lines are long and we don't want no one missing their court docket or being late to their courtroom. Other than that, that's not much we have over here at the sheriff's office, but I will be on for any court related issues or concerns that anyone may have. And if there are no questions, that'll be it for me, Mr. Holloway, but I'll be still here on the line.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. Appreciate that. And again, the community involvement. I can't preach that enough. We have someone from Maryland Park Police that came on.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
All right. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. This is Officer Reynolds. I'm filling in for Lieutenant Truesdale.
Okay.
Just want to give you an update. I believe there was a carjacking at Suitland Community Center. And in reference to that carjacking, apprehension was made and that case is being closed. Also, if I can share, and I'm sure this is a concern with everyone else as far as theft from autos, just encouraging the community to keep your valuables out of sight. Make sure you lock your doors and be aware of your surroundings when approaching your vehicle. If you have an emergency panic button on your key fob, keep that handy just in case you need it. But most importantly, just like anything else, when the community works together, everything else works out well. So I'm here if anyone needs anything. And again, good morning all, and happy birthday to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you stepping in.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Miss Christine, did we ever get anyone from Battalion Chief?
I do not see anyone from Fire EMS. Let me see if I see a number that I recognize. No, I do not.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for watching out for that. We want to, at this point, we're going to shift gears just a little bit. We've heard from our local officers as we normally do, and the numbers and reports that they're doing shows what a team we are, and we have to continue to be that. Nobody can be everywhere at all times. That's why we work together, and that's something we've been trying to do from day one. And our guest speaker, who we have here, is no stranger to that because that's what he came in with and where he's been. And those are some of his key elements, what he's trying to do to enforce. So, sir, without further ado, we want to recommend our chief police, Chief Aziz. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I tell you, Mr. Holloway, I'm gonna have you open up for me everywhere I go from now on. I like that. It gives the proper etiquette towards today. It makes me feel good. It's so let me say happy birthday to you, and happy Mother's Day to the mothers here or those who are celebrating this upcoming weekend. And my staff who on the line, I heard Major Leitner and Captain Martini. I think a Major Rickard may be on, and Captain Weingartner here. And of course, the second in command, Assistant Chief Hale, I see him. And it is a few others out there. If I didn't see you on here, my apologies to my staff. We couldn't make it go around without them. They do a tremendous job. They are fantastic individuals, and they lead men and women to those type of partnerships that you just spelled out. I want to make sure that I say we have a 50-50 community partnership, as many have heard me say in the past, that this is a 50-50 partnership, and we couldn't get anything done without you, without the community making things happen for us in that kind of community engagement aspect that we've come to rely on. The community is the police and the police is the community, but you're more. You're the core and the foundation of the very reasons why we come to work every day and why we exist. And we believe that it's not just a philosophy, it is a way of life, a way of work life. And we embrace that and we cherish it, and we will not take your relationship for granted for what you do every single day especially for, South County Community Roundtable and your efforts that you have contributed, especially over my last 2 years. Yesterday marked 2 years since I arrived in Prince George's County as a police chief. So it seems like it was yesterday that I just got here. But it feels good. It feels like home, and you feel like family to me. And that's the most important thing. So I want to make sure that I say that. Extend also my warm respect and greetings to the other agencies that I heard from. I value our relationship as well. We couldn't do this without being in partnership with each other to work in the best interest of the community. So thank you very much. With that said, I'm going to go into just a few things to talk about. Then I'm going to open it up for a Q&A, because I think one of the best things we can do is answer your questions about what you may have that may be specific towards me, especially if I don't cover it. But I want to just go over just a few things. First, if you allow me to, I'm going to share my screen. But before I start talking, about what are we actually, if you can see my screen, I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I'm talking about first is one of the most important things that we can see here today that's ever present, and that is where our staffing is at. Our staffing is really, we are allotted for almost 1,800 people, and we are around 24 or so now, with a couple of dozen in the academy right now. We are challenged, faced with a staffing crisis, just like other departments across the nation. And that has a debilitating effect on how we deliver services and the expectation of those services to be delivered. So when you're 350, plus officers who are, short, a cop on the dot means things. A cop in the community means things. A cop ready for engagement, exercising a community policing philosophy, it means something. And we are struggling in staffing challenges, and some would say even a crisis of policing, just like everywhere else. But with that said, just let me one stat that really sticks out. In 2012, we had almost 8,000 people, very close, a few short of 8,000 people apply for Prince George's County Police alone. In 2022, we finished the year with 824 interested parties to be police officers. 8,000, almost 8,000, 7,995 versus 824, and that's just in 10 years. And the national climate perspectives on policing, all of those things have compounded the changing working environment for where we are. So I just wanted to kind of frame, the challenges we are. We have a robust recruiting team. Every officer should be an ambassador, and our community will be our best ambassadors for a beautiful Prince George's County that people will want to live, especially work, be entertained in, and where our children play. So I just wanted to get that out there. I'm gonna go over some brief stats, and I won't be long on them. And we can, I'll turn it back over to you so anyone can ask me any questions that you may have. As we can see, as we've talked about, murder or homicides, we're down in homicides this year, fortunately, 4 with a negative 12%. Sex offenses are down. Robberies are slightly down, and the assaults are slightly up. When we look at assaults, though, the domestic violence is what we're looking at, and domestic violence assaults on the violent crime, it is proven to be problematic as we, try to work together to address, some of the issues that are associated with the total domestic violence. And that can go either way on any given day. But domestic violence overall is being down, but the assaults associated, with it inside those categories being slightly up. I think we're fortunate of that. I'll cover one of the other points in just a moment. I think it weighs on everyone. I heard it mentioned by one of our other agencies. The juveniles, everyone talks about crime and juveniles and the involvement. In 2021, we arrested 136 people. The juvenile arrests were 14, our juvenile victims 11. 2022, you've seen it, 103 total. Juvenile arrests 10, juvenile victims 7. These are homicide numbers. A juvenile being involved in a homicide, either being the victim or the perpetrator. And then 2023, and what we've had so far and what we're dealing with juvenile arrests, 4 and 4. But our closure rate now, Prince George's County has one of the best homicide divisions in the nation, if not the best. And we hover in that 80 to 90 percentile range. Right now, we're at a 74 percentile range, meaning, 74% or 7, every 7 out of 10 or so, 7.5, almost out of 10 murders, we catch that individual. That's an important statistic, especially when you look nationwide. There are some major police departments who hover around 3 and 4 out of 10, meaning that a person could murder you and most likely get away with it. But those numbers of juveniles being involved in homicides, very critical. The violent crime robberies, I mentioned this slide earlier. As you can see, how the numbers are changing against 2022. Just want to, in 2023, where we're going with robberies, the number is 50 plus, but those numbers are very serious and significant to us when you look at the number 50. People say, oh, so it's 50 crimes over inside of a large 500 square mile county and it's 11% up. Well, that's why it's so critical for us. Every one of those robberies, they add to our percentage, and we're battling against those numbers from 2022. The gun recoveries, very, very interesting things going on with gun recoveries and how things have been shaped around guns. Most of our crime is either shaped around a weapon, a carjacking or a robbery, those violent crimes, and the weapons play a big role in this. I know in the United States of America, there's a large appetite, for weaponry. And Prince George's County has been no stranger to that kind of weaponry and violence. When you look at 2023 and what's happened with those guns, I put those stats up there for a reason. But I want to go to people talk about the ghost guns and how we look at what's going on with ghost gun arrests and juveniles. And we look at how many ghost guns we've recovered, and 54 ghost guns recovered. When you look at, 2022, 98, and all of these things are just compounding our problem with violence. When you can go on the internet and get a polymer 80 gun kit and bring it back out, it's an unserialized weapon. We supported it in the legislation. It got passed, but that's just a small, tip of the iceberg when it comes to weapons across the county. When you look at ghost guns and the proliferation of ghost guns and the proliferation of weapons, when you have, interesting enough, we go back 3 years and we've had, gun seizures, gun recoveries that total over 3,200 or 3,300 guns. And then we have over, 2,100 arrests associated with those weapons. And that's a lot of people being arrested. It's a lot of guns being recovered. And it's kind of shows you the problem that we're having. And you add Baltimore to that, you add the district to that, you go up the road and add Philadelphia to that, and you'll see just how big of a gun problem we have on the eastern seaboard. And things get a little bit more dicey as things change here. The carjackings. 391 vehicles carjacked in 2021. That went up to 480 in 2022. And as you can see in 2023, we're still going about the same pace on carjackings. We're up 6 from this time last year. Last week, we were down 6. This week, we're up 6. And so it's been kind of topsy-turvy. But the fact is juveniles, for the first time in the past 2 years, we've had more juvenile arrests than adult arrests for carjackings. Our young people are doing more carjackings, more violent crime than ever before. Some people blame it on, the COVID, the pandemic, mental health, frontal lobe development. I've heard probably everything you can imagine about why juveniles are committing violent crimes. And they're not just doing it in Prince George's County, they're doing it in every major city across the United States, every major jurisdiction across the United States. So we're battling with those kind of numbers right now. Moving forward, property crime, our biggest problem. I heard one of our guys say about where we at in property crime, stolen vehicles, anything revolving around a car has been our problem. Either someone is stealing something off your car, they're stealing something from inside your car, or they're taking your car. And we've had, of that number that you see now, of 2,500 vehicles over what it was last year for a 60% increase, 1,500 of those vehicles were, today, in today's numbers, they were Kia and Hyundais. And so when you look at the number of Kias and Hyundais due to that little social media TikTok challenge, it has proven to be a very serious task and challenge for us to arrest these individuals in these stolen Kias and Hyundais that from those years that are turned to start, not pushed to start. So if you own a Hyundai or Kia that is turned to start, you should get you a kill switch, an alarm, a club, which we handed out 1,100 clubs so far that was given to us from Kia Motor Company to try to combat this problem. But we're so far ahead right now of this I should say behind to be more appropriate, that it will take a very slowing down of stolen vehicles for us to get a negative at the end of the year. This Kia Hyundai has been the most perplexing and challenging task for us at this time. The annual crime reductions, I won't read all of them, but we run 5 crime initiatives a year. We implemented in 2021 those 5 crime initiatives focused on spring, summer, fall, and winter, and then a holiday crime initiative. And they kind of go with the months. They're just what they say they are. They roll through the seasons, except for the holiday starts just before Thanksgiving and ends at just after the new year. And we run those operations. Bureau of Patrol, Deputy Chief McCreary and Major Rickard, and our Patrol Bureau commanders and XOs have done an excellent job of formulating those plans so we can have a operation. They say, failing to plan is planning to fail. So we have implemented some very serious operations. One being really important, we did the Walters Lane Task Force as a template and a blueprint for what would happen in the future. It was very successful. In 90 days, we had zero violent crime in Walters Lane for the 90-day period that we put that into effect. So they did a magnificent job out there. But we're just trying to focus around some of the common sense things, some of our predictive analysis, some of our evidence-based policing techniques, and try to have an application. But what is not missing from these plans now that we put the 2 years on is that we always have a community component. We always do something for the youth, and we're always doing something for the seniors in the community, that we will not forget that we need to grab hold of our youth and we need to grab hold of our seniors and make sure that we protect our most vibrant workforce in our county. So we've implemented all of those things inside of the community aspect of our plans. The we provide some services. Many people know about the CAFE and the services that they provide. I just wanted to kind of mention that we do a lot of services around the Hope Collective, Hope in Action with Pastor Lee, where they have 23 organizations working with the grants that was given by our county executive. It was facilitated right out of the police department about what we could do to help areas like, over in some aspects of Suitland right now with violence interrupters or credible messengers, to try to expand that in the years to come to provide non-governmental organizations and not-for-profit groups, faith-based groups with an avenue, a funding mechanism to actually help the police in that 50-50 partnership with crime so far. And Pastor Lee has been a very great supporter and leader with us in the police department to make that happen, and with the county executive's office. So there's no complaints for us on this. That's more services. I kind of went over them. I'm not going to go over those any further. Our Office of Community First, I'll touch on this, and this will be the last slides that I touch on. We provide a lot of community-based outreach. We realized we'll never arrest our way out of any problem. We tried to do that in the 80s and 90s. It didn't work. The only viable means that we have is to build a strong community base, that we focus on youth, that we focus on senior programs, that we do the kind of things that have a community engagement and a community policing philosophy. Our Office of Community First, under Dr. Bailey, with some very great leaders under her that coordinates with our cops officers and our division commanders. We have the seniors in law enforcement working together with our seniors. We have a police athletic activities league, a very vibrant law enforcement explorers program. We're working with the Boys and Girls Club now over at our old police headquarters on Barlow Road to establish a Boys and Girls Club inside a police department. That the thought of it was the first of its kind. Since then, Chicago actually beat us to it and actually put one in a police fire facility for the community. We've had real talk conversations with our youth. We went to Cheltenham for the first time that a police chief talked to youth in Cheltenham. Myself and Assistant Chief Hale were there, along with our Office of Community First. One of the best real talk for young people who were in serious trouble at a turning point in their lives, a crisis in their lives. And our leadership and life summer camps are some of the best camps that you can get. It has a waiting list every single summer for kids to get into. And even with that, the 1%, 2% that we're doing is nearly not enough for us to get everything done. I wish we could do more, but we are doing a significant part outside of being an enforcement mechanism. We're trying to build bridges, build community, help engage the community, because we are part of the fabric of the community. And it's just more what I talked about before. That was, triad and SALT and those things I already mentioned. We'll be starting our backpack giveaways for when school restarts. We did a coat drive. We gave 200 coats to a local school. Much needed, because the teachers identified the students who needed those coats. So we gave coats to kids who actually needed them. And our annual sock drive is one of the best it is. I don't know who won it this year. I can't say. I don't know. I think Major Lightning lost it this year. He was aiming to win it again. And I think maybe Division 5 or something won it. But 15,000 socks, hats, and gloves given out to our homeless. We partnered with with MPD and our like agencies over across the line, and we made those things happen. And every year we do those kinds of things right there. It makes the news. We do a lot of great good and all those things. And that was just resources from the state attorney's office. I won't say those. I know that was a lot of information, and you may have absorbed a lot, but I would like to hand it back over and open up the floor to answer any questions that you may have for me.
All right, sir. You definitely whizzed through that, but you hit the high points, and I think everybody heard and saw that how engaging and the programs you put in place. So you made sure that they were in place to show partnership, and you restated and reemphasized the importance of partnership between our law enforcement agencies and our communities. You can't be everywhere, all the time. We know that, and we're appreciative of the fact that the folks who we have, the men and women serve under you, do us great service, and we appreciate them. We want to let you know that from us, the community.
Thank you so much.
I know it's not said that often, but again, hey, look around. You think things are bad, just look around. That's somebody that'll help you, but you need to be forthright in what you're doing. So we appreciate you, sir. With all information given, Chief has opened the floor up to say, hey, what questions you got? Talk to me. I see a hand up, Miss Pat.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Chief Aziz. Welcome aboard. I haven't had the opportunity to welcome you aboard before, being a native Texan myself. I'm new to National Harbor, and one of the questions that I have, I know we have a lot of focus, and I appreciate that because it's needed in Prince George's County. We have a lot of focus on the criminal aspect of the county. Those people who are not abiding by the laws and who cause this kind of uh, environment in Prince George's County. But I don't think, there's a lot more to Prince George's County than the crime rates, right? And I'm a resident of National Harbor. I make no apologies for being a strong advocate. I and what I'm getting to is that there are sort of quality of life issues that I believe that if they go unaddressed, they escalate to worse issues. And we have a problem in National Harbor in terms of course, the motorbike gangs that come and disrupt, the cars that come and disrupt. And it's one thing to have them here doing the peak entertainment time, but it's another thing to have them here on the weekends, especially to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's we're trying to figure out. I know we have a town hall this Saturday, come to think of it, with our division person. But we've just got to get our hands wrapped around this, because the good communities, the communities that are experiencing quality of life, except for those issues that are not being addressed, because it seems that all of the resources of the police department are focused on criminal activity. And I'm just saying, I'll give you an example. On some Saturdays, especially during the summer, it's closer during the summer, but this is the question I have. I want to know about your policy in terms of how you address this. We have sometimes, motor gangs or whoever come and set up concerts, for lack of a better word, on our sidewalks. They're blazing the music right below our homes and that kind of thing. And when we have approached the police before, those that have been on the beat here, and not just me, others, and asked them, can't they stop this from occurring? And they tell us that they have a right to come and do what they're doing. And I can't imagine I could go in front of the mayor's house, set up a boombox and play my music like that without a police showing up and saying, no, you can't do it. So I'm just wondering what is the policy and how do you address sort of quality of life issues like that?
Yeah, well, let me answer that, and I'll try to be, with much clarity and brevity as I can. Number one, I'm a Oxon Hill resident myself, National Harbor. We may live close together there, somewhere around there.
Probably.
So it's of great interest to me, of course. And it is, we are addressing those issues that you have stated. We have, even in the summertime that's coming up now, when our SROs are out of school, we actually place more officers down in the National Harbor to deal with some of the issues, the high volume issues. Some of the, there's not a lot of violent crime that occurs down there, but it is some property crime. And we do address that. Criminals they don't stop criminalizing no matter location. So we are addressing, say this about the problems that we're having with some of the quality of life issues with loud music or motors or ATVs or those things that are being, down there. We have taken some action in the past with our limitations, or these guys know that, we can't chase them. We utilize aviation or our Guardian helicopter to help us enforce it. And we have enforced it, not just there, but in and around the area, because it's such a major issue that's going on. But we are focusing on loud music. And if we're going to, I can allow Lieutenant Spence, if he can elaborate in just a second. But we are making sure that some of our officers are equipped with some of the cheaper model decibel readers that violate the noise standards, or if they are blocking a sidewalk and things, those things are illegal no matter what. And so if an officer may not be well educated enough, or maybe it doesn't meet that threshold, or he doesn't have the tools or resources to enforce it. But either way, when someone is called 911 or brought it to the attention of a police officer, I would think that we need to get that information over to Lieutenant Smith, Spence, or Captain McCreary, or Major Leitner and his team, so that we can properly address it, because I have to have specific information when we haven't done the totality of our jobs. But no, Ms. Pat, you should not have to live like that. We shouldn't violate your peace while we realize that the National Harbor is open and it's a crown jewel of Prince George's County. And there's so many things that we want to do with National Harbor. We do want to have a balanced approach to how we address some of our tourists, or how we address some of our business owners with the Peterson Group, and all of those things. And we meet with them every week. I think Mondays and Wednesdays. We meet with them. We talk about issues. We talk about problems, about events, all of these things. We have a very great relationship. And this is one of the things you just said that we can bring forth to them. But Lieutenant Spence is down there every day, and he's coordinating efforts down there. So I really want to hear him, as brief as he can be, to just elaborate on what I just said.
Got it. Lieutenant Spence, go ahead, sir.
Absolutely. And thank you, Chief. And Ms. Pat, thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's no surprise. And yes, ma'am, we are very much aware of that. In fact, this past weekend, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we reconstructed some of our resources there. And we have 2 to 3 dedicated officers now working from the hours of 6 o'clock p.m. to 12 o'clock a.m., targeting exactly what you just said. In fact, it was 15 citations given to an individual that had a very nice looking Mustang, but he had several violations with the muffler, and we gave 15 tickets to the individual and encouraged him to leave the premises at that point in time. And you are absolutely right. We do have individuals that show up at the harbor, because the harbor is an attractive place where people like to show off. But we are aware of the fact that we have beautiful residents like you there, and that we have noise ordinance that we are definitely enforcing, and we are on top of that. And we have officers especially dedicated to address the same issues you just mentioned, ma'am. So you should see some improvement here very soon.
All right.
Thank you.
I think that's awesome. Thank you very much. And great question. And those are the proper answers, because we're working, again, as a unit. So Ms. Pat, keep being vigilant and keep voicing it. Let's make things happen. All right.
Okay.
I see Mr. Odom's up.
Yeah, we
Mr.
have.
Odom.
Before you go, Andy, Daryl has his hand up, and after Daryl, Mr. Pate.
Yes.
Yes, he has his actual physical hand up. So.
Okay. I go with Daryl first. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good morning, Chief, and good morning to everybody that's on the line at the moment. I just wanted to focus on particularly one area. I got 2 points and questions regarding the juvenile issues within the county, because the statistics that you shared with us are quite concerning. And one of them being that may not directly relate to juvenile, but the fact that you had 8,000 applicants for your organization. I think you said 2012, and now we're at somewhere near 800. Now, I know as an organization that you're aware of, the Coalition for Public Safety Training in Schools, that advocate trying to have public safety career paths for young people as a part of the curriculum within our county. And my question was, have you and the other law enforcement agencies, I know you have explorers, the Office of Sheriff has its cadets as well, and the fire departments as well. Have you all been in discussion to further try to look at that as a viable initiative in the high school level to cultivate young people and young adults that may want to go into those fields? That's one question.
Yes, we have. We've been looking at all avenues and approach to staffing and recruiting and retention since my arrival in May of 2021. The schools, we do have programs in schools now like Surrattsville. It is a school program. It is a Prince George's County public school program. That program we aid that program, but it is not a police program. And as you can imagine, the dichotomy that exists between schools and police. We have a great relationship with Dr. Golson. We're moving forward with that. We also have the cadet program that emanates from the school, forming a pipeline to become a police officer when they are 20 and a half years old. Under our state licensing authorities, then they have to be 20 and a half years old to join the police department. So we're trying to cultivate them, trying to give them an avenue, which is in direct differentiation between police and fire. A fire can join the police department at 18 years. I mean, the fire department at 18 years old. That they have those rules that allow that. But when you put a weapon on someone's, hip and give them, 7 to 9 months of training, depending on whatever cycle it is, then that changes things here. And we are state law actually, dictates what we will do. But we are working to strengthen the pipelines in the schools to have a better, robust cadet program in high school, to give them a better pipeline to get to us from that 18 to 20 and a half year range when they can start the academy. So we are working toward those goals. I will say this lastly, the attitude and the challenging times of policing, people are not they're not endeared to joining a police department. With the national challenges and the perspective, a lot of our young people are saying they do not want to be a police officer. They do not want it as a career. They do not want it as a job, that they have really no interest in joining us. And that is what we have been plagued with in our recruiting efforts. It's 750,000 officers in the United States. It was 900,000 just a few years ago. It's still almost 19,000 police departments. And of the major top 80 police departments in the country, we are vying for the same pool of applicants. And it depends on who can offer the better situation. And that's why I'll reiterate what I heard already. Prince George's County is beautiful. You are the best ambassadors. I think the best sale for bringing people into is the way we present ourselves and our county, to show them that we sit in a wonderful jurisdiction, that we have a quality of life, that we have a great county, we have great leaders, we have great citizenry, and we sell our county based on the 500 square miles of beautifully placed, situated cities, municipalities inside of our county. And that is the most difficult thing to get across right there. But we are doing it, Mr. Owen.
Okay. Darrell, do you have another quick question?
Thank you, Chief, for that response. The only last question I did have involves juveniles as well. I'll be quick for others to get their points in. But at a activity or summit that I attended earlier in the year with the state's attorney and police representatives, I was become aware of the Department of Juvenile Services. That's a state level agency, and their involvement with juveniles whenever they commit an act of delinquency, I think they term it. And so they have first action, if you will, or they have a determining action in terms of what the results with the juvenile is, meaning that they can not charge a juvenile, although the community and the citizens don't see that directly. They see that a juvenile may be detained or arrested or apprehended and then released. And oftentimes that's not the judgment call on either our police agencies or even our state's attorneys. So I don't know if you can address that or clarify that for me further. And if any changes are there or going to take place to maybe look at that further.
Yeah, well, let me say this. The Department of Juvenile Services, they have the final say on what happens to juveniles here. Maryland has the overarching opinion that they will do what is in the best interest of the child. I'll say that. That's what the terms that they use. So no matter how violent the act, no matter, what the public, perception is, that they have taken it upon themselves with laws to strengthen them in the state of Maryland, that they will do what is in the best interest of that child, even if they committed a violent crime. I think we've seen that play out here. When I arrived here, from the shooting that happened in the shopping center near Dave and Buster's. That kid, 3 years later, that kid was sentenced to home confinement for the murder of another kid, for the murder of another child. Home confinement. Yeah, home confinement. I have to reiterate that. And so there are many kids just like that who get probation. They don't ankle monitor them. They say that that's some kind of detention deal, demoralizing detention. They place kids, they give them book reports to read. Kids who don't even stop going to school or just being a nuisance. They say, read these 5 books and come back with, I've seen it all in the past 2 years. But where the actual focus, because we are one cog in the criminal justice, this gentle, this fragile criminal justice ecosystem. We are one cog. And I say, make it known to your county council. Make it known to your delegates and your senators. Make it known to the governor. Make it known to the state director of Department of Juvenile Services about your feelings, because what we get is that they don't hear from the community about these issues that's going on. They say nobody talks to them about it, so they make these laws, they put policies in place, and then you won't get the justice. And all we're looking for is accountability. I don't believe in locking away people forever. I do believe every person has a chance at redemption, and we should be giving them opportunities for that. And then there's accountability, that we don't do away with accountability when we're stretching our hands to give you help and assistance and opportunities. That right there is unacceptable. And that's where we don't have the power. The state attorney doesn't have the power when they put it back to juvenile court. She can't do anything about it, or even when it's whatever. The state attorney position can't do anything about it. So we are in a complex environment, but your voice has to be heard, not just once, but make it heard over and over again.
All right, thank you, sir. A number of questions in the question chat, but I'll go with Mr. Pate. Yes, sir.
Yes, good morning, sir. Let me start off by saying I'm wearing a hat the same way as our moderator. I'm a 84-year-old Vietnam service-connected veteran. And I'm also public relations for the Hillcrest Marlow Heights Civic Association. And I live in Iverson Hill area. We have quite a bit of problems in our area. And let me just take this advantage to say, I watch you with the statistics, which I've heard on this program also before. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around when you show me statistics where we got a 13-year-old that's been murdered in our neighborhood and other people, and you say that our crime rate is down. Well, let me just go and say we have two interests. We have Nail Road and we have Branch Avenue. They're speeding on Branch Avenue, which I can attest to even yesterday. There's people running flat out red lights where the traffic have stopped. They'll go around on the right or the left side and still flat out running the red light. Me, with my old truck, I pump the brakes a couple of times when I'm stopping to a stop sign, because people will just go around me as I stop to the stop sign and run the stop sign. So we do have those kind of things that's going on in Temple Hill. So I'll just give you a chance to respond. And let me thank you. I thank the police department each time I come on for the service that they provide to my community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pate. I will say thank you for your service, and thank you to all the veterans for your service to this country. We could never thank you enough for what you have done to allow us to stand and allow me to speak and allow us to be free here in this homeland. So thank you. I'll say when homicides, and it's an asterisk, really. One homicide is too many. One homicide is too many. There's really, when we say crime is down or homicide is down, I should say, then that actually for us means that it was some people who were murdered and some families who are going to grieve for the rest of their term for people who cannot come back. So one homicide is too many for us. We are focused on dealing with the violent crime. It's our primary, we do primary resource allocation to deal with the type of violence that is plaguing our neighborhoods and plaguing our communities and trying to turn them into some kind of war zone that is not needed. And this takes all of us working together from every component that we have in order to make people, bring people forth into cooperation, not just compliance, to cooperation. And that has been the most difficult task when it is compounded by life interest, whether that is poverty levels or, dealing with socioeconomic issues or dealing with just being depraved or a person who does not have the type of mental capacity that, endears or enjoins him to living peacefully among his people and his neighbors. And we have some people who are like that. So it's difficult. That's the first thing. The last thing is about what happens in traffic enforcement and how we, I know the divisions, the commanders do a lot on traffic enforcement. Our traffic division does a great job on traffic enforcement. We've enhanced and being more focused on areas that need more traffic enforcement. And so it's been a long battle of people who are not in compliance, who have no interest in complying with speeding laws or traffic laws in general. And we write thousands of ticket citations per year to those people. Some who never show up in court, some who show up and get fines and pay them, but that doesn't stop. We've enhanced, speeding cameras around. We've supported legislation around that, as well as some people who I see on this call, especially the South County Community Roundtable has been instrumental in that support. So we're doing those things as part of our small entity to address those very concerning issues, because we don't want something to happen to you while you're driving around in an old truck, and we want you to be safe. And we want to protect you. But lastly, I'll say this. If there's a specific area that is really troublesome to you, that you see every day or you see more frequently than others, please give that information to me. Get it to me so I can give it to, or you have our majors and captains on the line now. You just make sure it gets to us, because we will put some traffic enforcement directly where you say it is needed most. We will do that. You have my commitment for that, and we'll put it on a frequent rotation basis to address that specific issue.
All right. Thank you. Good, great question and super answer. Yes, sir. We know through the CACs at the different division stations, and in particular, one Mr. Page talking about is Police Division 4 with Major Lightner. They've been very responsive and proactive as they can, dedicating resources to areas and things like that. And we do our best to make sure folks know there are avenues available to them to report these things and how we can hold people accountable. And that's basically all we're asking. We put people in position. We're asking folks to be accountable to our woes and concerns. So thank you, sir, for reiterating that and your support.
Yes, and all we also ask is, when you do that, as much as you can, don't tell us they're speeding all the time. Please try to narrow that down to the best actionable community intelligence we can get. We need specific worst days and worst times, 1 or 2 hour blocks, and then we can focus on those worst times and days.
Absolutely. That's a great addition to that. Chief Aziz, thank you very much for hanging with us, sir. Can you hang a little bit longer, or you?
Yes, I can. I'm here. I appreciate your invite, and I'll be here for a few more. So go ahead.
Okay. I'm looking over in the chat section. We got a number of questions. Some of the concerns we've already highlighted. We're about the youth. There's going to be so many youth that's going to enter into the system the wrong way. We see little things going on, and it looks like our laws or tarts and whatnot are being more lenient toward these kids. I don't understand it, and that's what's coming out here. What other programs, you mentioned several that you had that you're initiating or have in place to try to engage our youth? And here's one question: says, Chief, 2,000 youth will join the low crime rate in Fort Washington community this fall. How can residents engage in these students to keep them out of this crime thing?
Well, let me say a few things, because I probably can talk all day about youth and my love for engagement with youth. Here's where we're at. I'll say this in our system, because we often focus on the small amount of group who's doing this most visible damage. The vast majority of our young people, they are living right. They're doing just young, kid stuff. Some of it's dumb, just like we did. Some of it's ignorant, but where it crosses the line is when it's violent, when you commit violent crimes, and it's not some petty graffiti or shoplifting and things like that, but when you commit violent crimes. But the vast majority of our young people, they are really doing what is right. They are trying to live their lives. They're trying to contribute, trying to find their place in what will be their world, their environment, and they're doing right. And then we had a small group who is not, and we really generally deal with, I would say under 100 kids out of the thousands of kids who are in Prince George's County who are doing things that will cause you great harm, that will cause bodily injury. Judge Pearson, who's a very good judge over at in the courts, juvenile court. He did a program for himself that is trying to hold parents accountable and cause them to come down, be a part of the solution, because we always state the problems over and over, and the solutions are more difficult. So he's doing a great job at that. Internally, the police department is just what it is, a police department for law, focused on compliance, cooperation, enforcement, prevention, engagement, a community policing philosophy. We do all those things. But oftentimes, I think Mr. Holloway said that it was a thankless job. Well, when it's a thankless job, we usually get a lot of the jobs with counselors, with teachers, with social workers. Some of us, have preachers. We have all kinds of hats that we're wearing while we do this job. One of those hats that we wear proudly is to contribute a percentage of our time in interaction with young people. So that is why we have Explore programs. That is why we try where we need funding for it. This is why we have the Police Athletic Activities League, where we're doing STEM and we're doing leadership lessons and we're doing camps with soccer and basketball and baseball. We have the Cal Ripken Field, first of its kind, over on Barlow Road, first on a police property facility, where we're training kids, we're mentoring kids, we're being a part of their lives, trying to show them who we are in a different capacity before we have to pull out some handcuffs and arrest people that we want to show them we're human beings, we care about them, we want to see them do really well. So we have those deals. Now, what can you do as a community? Here's a stat for you. If young people don't know how to read by third grade, they become a candidate for the juvenile justice system just a short time later. And they will become future candidates for a penal institution, all on the fact of not knowing how to read. So I would say contribute in which way you can. Either you're contributing in time, or that's volunteerism, or you're contributing in funds if you have the means, or you're just contributing and speaking well and forwarding those things to be progressive with it. We have to get involved in a volunteer capacity. We have to give to those charities. We have to make our voices known to the county council, to the state delegates and senators, to the U.S. senators and reps, that we care about our youth. We want funds going toward their development. We want programs that keep them off the street. The same things that helped us. I'm an old guy now. The things that helped me was Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, PAL. All those things were after school events that parents were at work or they were driving home, but it gave us an avenue so we wouldn't, what they say, idleness is the devil's workshop. That's what they say, right? So it kept us occupied, and we have to put things on the weekend. We have to cater to where the kids are now. They're into things. They're not into a lot of outside stuff, but if you put on video tournaments and they want to think that they are entertainers, that they can, rap a few lines and all these things, you have to actually meet kids where they are to bring them out of that environment. We're doing our part. I think what you can do is find a way to contribute to that, whether it's reading programs, it's volunteer programs, it's giving some money, it's taking kids. We took kids fishing out on National Harbor twice, kids who had never been fishing. They caught a fish. The impact on young people, showing them a better way. I can speak all day. What I'm saying is, in the end, get involved by any means necessary in one of those things. Time, volunteerism, funds, or really speaking out against it and making phone calls in support of funding and avenues for young people. We have to do one of those three.
Outstanding. And as a seasoned person myself, sir, I agree with that. It's basically family involvement. You have to be engaged. You can't be afraid of your child. You've got to be a parent, not a friend. And that's where a lot of things fall short. We depend on somebody else to raise our child. We depend on somebody else to do things for us. Let me tell you, I'll discipline my child in the house because I want when they go outside, the other person who disciplines outside may not have the same intent that I have. Okay? So we need to be involved as a community, as we are, and this is what we need, what we're doing right now to show that we are interested and engaging and want to make our community a safe place to live. I call it home.
Yes.
So thank you, sir, and your forces. We have other questions concerned about vehicle noises. And again, you've addressed that a bit, but that's going on throughout, and we're going to look forward. Unfortunately, not talking to you bike riders, but there are some folks who are going to come out this summer with all these bikes blocking traffic, bikes making noise, riding on the wheelies, one wheel, and things like that, weaving in and out of traffic. Chief has already addressed it. If you can, safely take a picture and report it. Don't try to run the person down. Okay, let them do their job, but they need your help, our help, in making sure that we identify these folks and where they are and where they're living. Don't you be the police officer. Okay, so be safe. All right. That was an overview, sir, of the questions here, talking about what I see over here about vehicle noise and things like that, and how you plan to address those. You've already addressed it, talking about identify the times and locations where these things are happening, so forces and resources can be directed. That's already been addressed in that regard.
And let me add this to it, Mr. Holloway. We are, even when the next state assembly start, I know there are some of our representatives who want to bring that back on the table about trying to put teeth in some of the laws that we have. I think what you see happening over in Virginia, when they do things like, reckless drive, Northern Virginia, I should say, like reckless driving and putting, felonies and seizing ATVs and motorcycles and utilizing some of their air support. And our response sometimes has been challenged by what the law is and what our local law is, because I don't think anyone wants us, blazing fast, traveling at high rates of speed through our county, trying to catch a traffic violator that most of the times, most police officers know he will be given a fine, and there will be no, jail time or no real consequences involved with that. So the sanctity of life is very important for us, and to do it in very smart ways. That is why we're using Guardian. That is why we're using strategic approaches. We're using our real-time crime center, information with a data analysis, common sense, intelligence, information to find out what's going on, using social media to address those in the safest manner that we can, and issue those citations, tow the vehicles when we have to, or impound them, and then make sure that they have their day in court to answer to those charges. So I wanted to add that.
Thank you, sir. That's awesome. That's an awesome addition. If I may, I ask if there are anyone from any of our elected officials' offices on right now. You identify yourselves. You seen him, Ms. Christine?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right.
Well, Andy, I just wanted, you did ask that, and I wanted to, in total transparency, indicate that I do serve, as some who may have seen when I had the banner on, as I spoke to the chief in the Democratic Central Committee. So I'm speaking not on behalf of that role that I play, but I simply wanted to speak out as a citizen doing that engagement. But I did feel compelled to speak on the bikers, being that I am a biker. I'm a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars and our riders group, not a riders club. From national on down, we are considered as a riders group. We work hand in hand with law enforcement on each of our events. We get assistance from Prince George's County Police, who have actually assisted us with a burial ceremony and shared in traffic control as we rode ceremoniously to Cheltenham to lay to rest one of our brothers. We also have events that we usually, in all cases, if there's any concern of noise or traffic concerns, we consult the agencies or local agencies having jurisdiction. I want to thank Lieutenant Truesdale. We just recently, this Saturday, had an event. But prior to conducting that event, since we were going to utilize 4 of Maryland's public parks, we identified those parks, identified what our role was, and got their consent to have that event take place. So I want to just make that announcement, hearing the concerns with motorcycles, that all motorcyclists do not have ill intent for your welfare and well-being. And on every event that we have, we actually make certain that our riders obey all traffic laws and local ordinances. So I just wanted to make that announcement. Thank you so much.
I wanted to make sure you got out there, Daryl. That's why I did it.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
And thank you for the work, Chief, that you're doing, and all the service of your officers, as well as some of our sheriffs, deputies that have assisted us in some of the events that we've had. All right.
Great. And we have one thing, sir. We talked about all this. We talked about the police academy, Assistant Police Academy. You mentioned that, and we know how great it is. We have several folks who attended, and the results coming back from that, we've got educated people who now understand better. Can you expand a little bit on that, sir, while you're here?
On the Citizens Police Academy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's very wonderful right now. Of course, many of you know already on the call, you meet every Monday. We have a very capable Sergeant Johnson, and she's been running the program for years. A few hours every Monday to get involved and see every aspect of what police officers deal with and how we go about doing things. It is so enlightening, the intelligence of it, the information of it. It has really enabled people to have a greater network, a greater circle, and to be able to correspond and talk to police when information can be readily accessible or to understand what's going on. I think I heard one of our graduates say, who had graduated some years ago, said when she heard some people talking about something and she was able to explain what the police protocol was because she had been through the Citizens Police Academy. I call it the Community Police Academy because now some of our residents or community members are not actual citizens. And we ran a faith-based Citizens Police Academy. It was all pastors. We had some rabbis, some imams came through. It was multifaceted from a diverse group of people. We are working on having a all Spanish speaking CPA, and so it is. I can't say enough about it. But one of the things that I think people really enjoy, we have a simulation that you can go through what people call shoot, don't shoot. And it really kind of puts you in the battle of what it is to be a police officer and make a split-second decision. And we love for people to go through that because it gives them a really bird's-eye view of how quickly things can change or escalate, or a split-second decision can be the right or it can be the wrong type of decision that you don't want to make. I'll take this just opportunity to say that's why I appreciate officers so much, just like you do. Police have a tendency to make things look very easy. This is a very difficult job. It's a very challenging job. And most of the times when people see us, it looks like it's an easy job. But when it gets bad, it gets bad. It gets terrible. And it takes a well-trained, well-seasoned individual, like many who you see on this line today, who've contributed their lives to policing, to embracing communities, to going forward in a very professional policing way, giving a professional police service in a very professional way. This is what they've dedicated their lives to, and because they're shine and because they're polished, they make it look easy. Everyone thinks they can do this job because they make it look so easy. So, but I will say, sign up for the Citizens Police Academy. Sergeant Eric Johnson and we will put you in a class on Mondays, and we'll fit your schedule, and we'll get you through, and we'll make sure that you engage with us and become part of our family, part of the thousands who have went through this program.
All right, that's excellent, sir. That right there made me think. What's the possibility? Maybe later on, we can have one of those, like you shared the screen, put one of those situations up that you do that everybody that's on this can see that. You know, they may not be able to come up. I'll do that, but see it right here, and we can have a little discussion about that. I think that would also open our eyes up and highlight the fact of how things can escalate. What seems very small, it starts off, but escalates real quick, and how the police officer has to make a decision right there, given the fact of all day. People forget that you're human. They forget that you are human, and they, they treat you that way, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. So I ask, is that a feasibility as we move forward, sir?
Yes, we'll work with you, and we'll try to come up with something that we can put up on the screen to kind of give a bird's eye view of what happens. I think that's a great idea, and so we'll work through it. Have the majors here work with our training academy here to put something up on the for your next meeting or meeting thereafter.
All right, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We've gone beyond our time. I want to thank Ms. Christine for still working with us, and Chief, you've been awesome. Hey, you sit here and take the time and field the questions that we have, the few that have come up. Very important questions, and your staff that extends out beyond your control and management, they are doing an outstanding job. Thank you so very much. We appreciate the fact that you took the time out to address us, and we'd like to have you on again in the future. But any last words you have for us, sir?
I just really want to reiterate thank you for those kind words. You've been far too kind. Thank you to the South County Community Roundtable for having me. I really appreciate you guys. You have an ally in me. You have a partner in me, and I serve to work for the greater good and greater purpose of Prince George's County and this region to make it safer and better, to make it a place that we all can want to live, we want to work, we want to be entertained, we want our children to play. Those are the kind of interactions that I appreciate with you, people who care about the community, and I care about this community, and I'm part of the fabric of this community, and I know my officers, I know my command, they see things the very same way, dedicating their lives to it. So let's have a partnership, and a 50-50 partnership. That means we all give and we all get. And that's how we make this beautiful county the best county in the nation. And so you have anytime you need me, you reach out to me, and we'll make sure those things happen to you. And I'll, at your request, I'll be honored to come back anytime that you say so. It's my privilege. I take this as a really honor and a privilege to have my voice be heard among you and exchange and engage with you in a meaningful way. It is needed. It is necessary, and I want us to move forward in a real progressive, positive police reformation era. That means that things reformulate and things change for the greater good, and that we do things that are sometimes outside the norm in order to build a better Prince George's County. So thank you again. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir. And again, unfortunately, our time has run out, but I do ask everybody on here, you are a member of this community. Let's voice our opinions, and let's continue to move forward and hold the people we have in position responsible. But we have to be responsible and accountable ourselves in the process. So, sir, thank you so much again. And we will have you back on again, try to work your schedule. And we are very appreciative for, again, the work that your force is doing to protect us. So with that, I'd say happy Mother's Day to all of you that are on here. And Chief, thank you and your force again. And everyone be safe, have a blessed and wonderful week. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the 24th when we'll be talking about our county budget. So ciao for now. Thank you, Ron.
Happy birthday, Mr. Holloway.
Thank you
Watson.
so much.
Thank you,
Thank you, Chief Dean. You have a good staff.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Watson, World War II, career, and Vietnam.